Hello, everyone, and welcome to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. This is your podcast for professional wrestling, and tonight we're going to recap and react to Saturday Night Main Event, May the 23rd, live from Fort Worth, Indiana. And this is, I think, the first time or the second time. The only other time I recapped a Saturday Night Main Event was, of course, for John Cena's final match in WWE versus Gunther. But this is the first time I just decided, you know what? We're going to sit down, watch this show, and try to enjoy it, because WWE has been a chore to get through as of late. They haven't been firing on all cylinders creatively over the last year, and I'm probably not giving it enough credit or discredit to be completely fair, but I am still a fan. I still enjoy the talent that's a part of this roster, so I support them. It's not so much of WWE. And we had a stacked card tonight, which was also odd, and another reason why I was geared up to watch Saturday night's main event. We had 5 matches on the card. 5. And that's weird for a Saturday night main event. Normally you get like 3 matches, and the rest of the night is filled with promos and commercials and a match here or there, and then promos and commercials, which takes up 75% of the program. But tonight was very different. We had 5 matches, and man, it was pure pro wrestling tonight. I really commend them on this card. We had Becky Lynch versus Ruca, Penta putting his Intercontinental Championship on the line versus Ethan Paige. You also had the Vision putting up their tag team championships against the Street Profits. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss taking on Jade, Cargill, B-FAB, and Michin in a 6-woman tag team match, and Brie, Bella, and Paige putting up their women's tag team championships against the Irresistible forces of Lash Legend and Nia Jax. Pretty stacked card. Something to get us kind of hyped up and geared up for next week in the premium live event with Clash in Italy that will take place on a Sunday, which is a throwback for WWE. We're going back to a Sunday PLE, I guess, because of the time difference and whatnot overseas in Italy. And so this should get people riled up for this PLE, because, like I stated, WWE has not been doing a really good job of giving you hyped up for any program, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, Saturday Night Main Event, a PLE, NXT even. I think NXT is all right, but it's not really excelling to heights. But I know there's a lot of new talent there, so it's going to take a minute for it to kind of gear up and get behind all of those performers who are there. Now, let's jump into this show, being as though they jumped right into the action in Saturday night's main event tonight. We start off with the 6-woman tag team match between Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, and Rhea Ripley, taking on Jade, Cargill, B-FAB, and Michin. This has been an ongoing feud, as we know, especially with Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill. Rhea Ripley being the women's world champion and taking that title off of Jade Cargill at this year's WrestleMania. And you have her little minions now with B-FAB and Michin, who are the new baddies, I guess. And you have this other little element of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who are kind of beefing with Rhea Ripley, but at the same time, they're beefing with Jade Cargill as well. And so there's a lot going on there. There's tension between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, and can they coexist in this match, and so on and so forth. So there's story there. And the great thing about this match was the storytelling. We were able to tell a story, continue a story, and add on to the story of Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, being as though they're going to have their rematch next week at Clash in Italy for that title. And you also add on to a feud that's probably going to be coming on after that PLE with Charlotte Flair involved. And then where does Alexa Bliss fall in all this? So there's a lot of elements coming out of this match, and I think they build upon this pretty well. The match was what it was, and I think it was a decent match. Nice opener, to say the least. I would say this match gets a B in my eyes. Jade Cargill, B-FAB, and Michin defeated Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair, with Jade Cargill getting the victory for her team by applying the Jaded onto Rhea Ripley after some interference and shenanigans and whatnot. But that's the way it was supposed to go. You know, it wasn't clean. She didn't beat her clean. And so that, once again, adds a heightened level to the match that we're going to get at Clash in Italy. I thought this was really good. My takeaways from it, B-FAB. You know, B-FAB, out of all 6 of these women, she was the weakest link, but you could clearly see there's some improvement on her end. She looks much better in the ring. It looks like she belongs on the main roster. Now, I'm saying all this. I'm not pushing her to be, challenged for the Women's World Championship or nothing like that. She looks better than when she first started off with the in-ring work. And so I'm proud of her on that front. I think Michin showed some really good moments throughout this match. That poison Rana that she hit on Rhea Ripley was brutal. It was brutal on both of them, but it looked really, really good. I was really impressed by that. And this was a nice booking for Triple H. I got to give him that. This was a nice match to start off this Saturday night's main event, and to continue telling this story within this feud. So we move on to the second match of the night, and it was Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca. Initially, I must have heard it wrong, because I thought it was for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, but apparently it wasn't, which is cool. We find out later why, but this was one of those matches where you could have did this on Raw. You didn't have to do this at Saturday night's main event. Now, in the grand scheme of it all, yeah, it sets up a bigger match, which will take place at Clash in Italy. But, it just felt like a waste of time. It felt like we didn't have to do this tonight. You had these 2 women fly out to Indiana for this. It was kind of ridiculous, but it's WWE after all. I mean, the match starts off, the match didn't even start, and Becky Lynch was attacking Sol Ruca. Just bolo-loading her. Finally, the match starts. Sol Ruca gets some offense in, was able to showcase her high-flying ability, her gymnastics background or whatnot. We got to see a little bit of a show, and then the match abruptly ended when Becky Lynch took Jessica Carr. Yes, Jessica Carr. This storyline has been going on for about 2 years now between Becky Lynch and Jessica Carr. Now, that isn't a knock. It isn't a complaint. I actually like this. I like the fact that Becky Lynch has this ongoing beef with a ref, and that ref always officiates her matches, and they always get into it every match. It's beautiful to me, but eventually this is going to have to come to a crescendo. I don't know when, how, where, well, I don't know, but it's eventually going to have to come to an end. But this caused the match to be called off, and unfortunately, normally Sol Ruca would have been disqualified for hitting the ref, but being as though Becky Lynch threw her into Soul Ruca as she was trying to attempt the Soul Snatcher. They gave the W to Soul Ruca. We find out later that the match will happen again, and it will be official in Italy, Clash in Italy for the Intercontinental Championship. So basically, that's what this was set up for, just to set up the match at the PLE next week. All fine and good. I give this a C. You know, I give it a C only because it did tell a story. It did set up something. You know, it wasn't just a random thing. My takeaways from it, I think Soul Ruca she's a talent, bro. She's a talent. She's still raw, and she still has a lot of work to do, promo wise, in ring wise. You know, we can't just rely on her gymnastics. You know, the high flying stuff. Eventually, you're gonna have to do some ground and pound stuff, but for the most part, you can clearly see she gets it. She got it. And but she just needs to slow it down. She needs to slow it down because it's like she's rushing through it, you know. And I know a lot of nerves are involved, and that I get all that. That's why I say it's gonna take some time before she really gets it. But I hope she gets it before she gets seriously hurt. That's my thing. And so that's my only critique of this. Other than that, it was what it was. I don't even classify this as a match per se, but it did its job. So it set up the match for Clash in Italy next week. We move on to the match that I thought was going to be the main event, the last match of this night, but no, it wasn't. It was in the middle of the card, and it was the best match of the night. As far as pro wrestling is concerned, this was the best match of the night on the card, and it was for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Penta putting that title on the line against All Ego Ethan Page, who I'm happy is on the main roster. Big fan of Ethan Page, big fan of Penta. Penta is over as all get out, and he is up there. He is an Obafemi level. Obafemi is like on a whole different plane. But Penta has been riding high since he debuted in WWE, and rightfully so. He is connected with the audience. He puts on a show. He's the total package. You know, it makes you wonder what happened at AEW. I don't know what happened. That was a clear fumble because this guy is the goods. I can honestly see them putting the World Heavyweight Championship on Penta, even the WWE Championship on Penta, and I wouldn't bat an eye. He's that great of a talent. But before we get to all of those accomplishments, he has to get through tonight. He has to get through Ethan Page, and this was a really, really good match. I had no doubts that these guys were going to put on a banger. And that's exactly what we got. Both performers put on a show. We got to see all of their stuff. We got to see reverses. We got to see working on the outside, working on the inside, high flying, ground and pound. I mean, it was the total package. Everything was there. If you're a wrestling fan, whether past or present, it is exactly what you would want to see in a wrestling match. Storytelling and pure pro wrestling mixed up with some luchador in the mix. I mean, it had it all. And you didn't know who was going to come out victorious in this match. No, you know, as of late, even in WrestleMania, I know exactly who was going to win every match, you know. It just entering the ring, you knew who was going to win. But in this match, I didn't know. I'm trying to find out throughout the match. Oh, okay, Ethan Page, they're gonna put it on him, and then it's like, oh wait, no, Penta is gonna. Well, no, it was that much of a back and forth, and it was a believable back and forth. You got Ethan Page using dirty tactics and all this stuff, everything, with the turnbuckles exposed and this, that, and the third. But ultimately, he couldn't escape the Mexican Destroyer from Penta to get the 1-2-3. Penta retains his WWE Intercontinental Championship. I'll give this match an A-. Yeah, it was that good. It was one of the best matches I've seen all year. And I know WrestleMania was a month ago. It's up there with me. This was awesome, man. This was an awesome match. I mean, Penta almost flew over Ethan Page with a crossbody. That's how out of control these guys were. It wasn't even a crossbody. It was a crossface. He jumped off the rope and hit Ethan Page in the head. A crossbody is supposed to be across your torso, but they were all over the place, Awesome match. But even with that botch, and I put heavy quotations on that, it still looked good. That's how fire this match was. Yeah, we move on. We move on to the women's tag team match. The champions, Paige and Brie Bella versus the Irresistible Forces, Nia Jax and Lash Legend. I was not looking forward to this match. I love Paige. Love Paige. Ever since NXT, calling up to the main roster, winning the Divas Championship her first night, and all that, followed her all the way through. I'm a huge Paige fan. Her fighting back from this career-ending injury, only to go to AEW, win the championship there, and come back and win the tag teams championship on her first night back and at WrestleMania. I can be more happy for somebody than I am for Paige, for her career to come full circle like that. I just did not care for this match. Going into it, I just didn't care for it because, number one, Brie Bella, and I have nothing against Brie Bella personally, just in ring, she's not good. She is not good. And after all these years, she still has not improved in the ring. And it's crazy. You're married to one of the best technical wrestlers ever. It's in Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, whichever one you want to refer to him as. And you haven't learned anything. I mean, it's like pulling teeth, bro. It's like pulling teeth. And you could tell in this match, throughout this match, that they were hiding Brie Bella the entire match because Paige was taking 80% of the punishment in this match. And this is a woman with a fractured neck, with a neck that is like hanging on a string. But they rather put all the weight on her than allow Brie Bella to get into the ring. That tells you everything you need to know about that young lady. But I love her though. I do love her. Lash Legend and Nia Jax, I actually like that pairing. I didn't like it at first when they first paired together, but they grew on me, and I like Lash Legend. Followed her in NXT and whatnot. Nia Jax is Nia Jax, she is what she is. But I actually like this little team. And on paper, this shouldn't even been a match. This should have been a squash, literally a squash. And for the most part, it was. They had the upper hand for the majority of this match, putting the beat down onto Paige. Like I said, she was in it the majority of the match because Brie, she could only do about 4 or 5 moves. And once you do that, you got to tag her. It's a hot tag, But even with Paige can only do so much at this point. But the bulk of the weight being lifted in this match was from the Irresistible Forces, and they did a pretty good job. Now, they didn't tell much of a story in the ring other than the fact that the Irresistible Forces are a dominant force, and you didn't need to watch a match to see that. They both, Lash Legend and Nia Jax, both of them can swat individually, can destroy Brie Bella and Paige on together on their best night. And so, you know, so in order for them to come out victorious, it had to be something odd. I anticipated Nikki Bella coming out and assisting, but that didn't take place. But Brie Bella and Paige did retain their championships with a little shenanigans to win, but you had to. And I got that. I wasn't even mad at that the face team had to use dirty tactics to win, because I mean, come on, they were the underdogs. they were out physical and out strength and whatever cat. The tail of the tape was tipped to one side here, but they had to find a way to win, and they did find a way to win. I give this match a C plus. It was decent. It was worth watching. Some spots came off really, really slow. Like one that sticks in my head was the spot when Paige pulled down the rope and it sent Lash Legend out of the ring. It just moved so slow, and you could tell that this was planned. And it just, I don't know what happened. It just looked so bad. So bad. It threw off the whole match. Up to that point, I was somewhat enjoying it. But then it just fell off the rails from there. But it kind of picked up, and by the time I got re-engaged with it, the match was over. Yeah, it was a decent match, It wasn't horrible. I think it was worthy to be on the card. I'll say that much. And so we get to the actual main event of the night. The tag team championships, the men tag team champions division. Logan Paul and Austin Theory defending those titles against the Street Profits. The Street Profits, who have been incognito as of late. Well, they've been busy getting their wives pregnant, because both of their wives are pregnant at the exact same time. I don't know if they planned that or it just so happened to happen. They truly are one of the most tuned in tag teams of all time. They inside the ring and apparently outside as well, because they were definitely keeping themselves busy as they was on the shelves for so long. But it's good to see them back in action. It's good to see them challenging for these titles. And to say that I don't care about the tag team division in WWE would be the biggest understatement of all time, because WWE, they don't care about the tag team division in WWE. It is so bad. Think about it now. You got singles wrestlers, single performers as tag team champions. You have Austin Theory and Logan Paul. They're singles, but they're the tag team champions. Over on SmackDown, you have Damian Priest and R-Truth. They're singles, but they're tag team champions. Damian Priest was just in WrestleMania, 2 years ago, winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, it's like, what is going on? You have no tag teams here. Other than the Street Profits, you got Fraxium. You have, I can't think of no one else. I'm blanking. I can't think of nobody. You let New Day walk out the door. The Wyatt Six, you let them walk out the door. DIY is no longer a thing because Tommaso Ciampa is gone. It's like the real tag teams in this division is gone. There are no tag teams. You have the Creed brothers in not AEW, in AAA. Where are your teams? Penta and Phoenix, they're brothers. They were a dominant tag team in AEW. You got them on two separate shows. So now, granted, Penta is doing his own thing with the Intercontinental Championship, but I'm just saying, where are the tag teams? tag team wrestling can be some of the best wrestling on the card if you do it right. And for years, it has been dismal in WWE. Other than the Usos, who they put a lot of stock behind, bloodline and all this here, I get all that. But there haven't been any good tag team wrestling. I went through all that to say this. I liked this match. I liked this match more than I wanted to like this match. I went into this not even caring about the match, simply because I don't like Logan Paul as a person. In ring, I can't take nothing away from him, but I don't like him. Austin Theory, he's an odd fellow to me because I want to like Austin Theory, but when he gets in the ring, I don't like Austin Theory because he's not skilled enough, you know. But it's something about him I do like. It's his aura or whatever you want to call it. I think he can be good. I think he can be something great. And look, you can say what you want about Vince McMahon, but Vince McMahon has made talent for decades. And he saw something in Austin Theory. He saw something great in Austin Theory. Unfortunately, we'll never find out what it all came to be because he was unceremoniously let go from the company, rightfully so. So I don't know what's holding him back. With all that being said, this match, you have the Street Profits, who is probably one of your better tag teams in WWE right now, next to Fraxium, I would say. They were in clear control of this match throughout. Finally the crowd woke up in this match. You know, it felt like an actual match throughout. A lot of back and forth. We got to the outside. We got some good double team fun from these tag teams. You got Paul Heyman getting involved, messing up the match, continuing this story on. Once again, storytelling. A lot of storytelling took place in the ring. Continuing with this feud, which will probably stretch on after this, hopefully so, because I really want to see the Street Profits get those belts. But you had Braun Breaker interfering with the match. You had Montez Ford teasing, going after Paul Heyman in this match. It's a lot that went on. Ultimately, Logan Paul hits Montez Ford with the brass knuckles, and Austin Theory covers him for the 1-2-3, and the Vision retains their tag team championship. You had after the match, Braun Breaker hitting Montez. Was it Montez Ford or was it Dawkins? It was Dawkins. Hit him with the spear. They celebrated over their wounded corpses in the ring. It was cool to see that. Once again, nice storytelling, some really good tag team wrestling. I'm super impressed with WWE with that. I want to see more of this. I want to see more tag teams. Hopefully that we do. Hopefully they bring some people back into the company to kind of build up this tag team division, and we'll get a lot more of this, because a lot of excitement and a lot of money is being left on the table by WWE. I give this match for the tag team championships a B+. I thought it was a really good match. Wasn't the match of the night. That still goes to Penta and Ethan Page, but this comes in a very close second. But my notable takeaways for the night, I don't know why WWE kept the Street Profits on the bench for months. It's mind-boggling to me. Another takeaway, setting up the Women's Intercontinental Championship match next week in the PLE between Ruca and Becky Lynch. Excitement was built for the Women's Championship match between Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill. Yeah, there's a lot to take away from tonight's Saturday night main event. Good action. Uh, Looks like some opportunities were missed. I can't put my finger on it, but overall, this was a good watch. This was a solid show. Nothing really let me down. I really wasn't expecting much from it, but so I was thoroughly entertained. This was a fun event, and I hope this is a sign of some change going on. Do I cross my fingers and hold my breath? No, but this is a good show. If we can get 4 or 5 of these in a row, I can get my excitement level back up when it regards to WWE. What did you think of Saturday night's main event? Did you enjoy the show? Are you hyped up for Clash in Paris next week? Not Paris, Italy. Paris was last year, wasn't it? Yeah, Clash in Italy next Sunday night. I'm excited for it, but I want to know your thoughts. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this recap and reaction for Saturday night's main event. I'll be talking to you next week when we recap and react Clash in Italy. Till then, y'all be good, and I'll holler at y'all on the next one.